I've made the personal decision to never own or buy a property in Australia as long as I'm living overseas as an Australian expat anyway. And the reason is very simple. It's because I've done the math and the numbers simply didn't add up. See, many years ago, I'd worked very, very hard and I'd managed to save up approximately $500,000. And I thought I would do what most Australians would do. And that is obviously to buy their first investment property. After all, my dad has been hounding it into me over the past 45 years to buy a property. But before doing so, before putting a $500,000 deposit down on a, say, $1.5 million home in my hometown of Perth, Western Australia, I thought I would do what most Australians don't do, and that is obviously the math. And that's exactly what I did, because I was curious to find out how much my expected return would be, say, over a 10-year period if I did buy that property. So I factored in everything from stamp duty to my rental income I would receive, to my land taxes, to my interest rates, principal payments, upkeep fees, even agent fees, and on top of that, selling fees like capital gains tax and agent selling fees. So I plugged all that into the Excel spreadsheet, and guys, the number blew me away. Not only was the return extremely low, but I also did a comparison with, say, the S&P 500 index to find out how much I would make if I did that instead. And here's what the calculator said. If I bought a property in Australia during that time, 15 years ago, I would have only made $381,000 in profit over a 10-year period. Versus if I took that $500,000 and put it in the S&P 500, I would have made $950,000 over a 10-year period. Guys, that is almost 2.5 times difference. So in effect, I would have, just to clarify, I would have lost $570,000 in opportunity if I bought the property in Australia. Wow, guys, that is quite a steep and hefty loss. I couldn't believe it. There's something wrong with my calculation. How on earth did a leveraged investment property lose so drastically against something simple like the S&P 500? After digging deeper, I found out the reasons why, and there's a few main reasons. One reason being a stamp duty, right? So entry fees into the investment, depending on state, is around 4%. The second reason is interest rates. With interest rates running around 5.5 or even 6% per annum, it makes the cost of money extremely expensive, therefore making the cost to own that property extremely expensive. And also land taxes. My gosh, they are quite hefty bills to pay. And on top of that, capital gains taxes. While living overseas, not being classified as an Australian resident, being classified as a foreign investor, we have to pay approximately double the capital gains tax compared to everyone else back home. So when I started looking at it deeper, I started realizing why the S&P 500 actually outperforms by approximately $600,000. And the reason is there's no entry fees, minimal ongoing costs, no exit fees, and no capital gains taxes. So it actually makes quite a bit of sense. That is exactly why I've chosen not to buy property in Australia. The numbers simply don't add up. And for those who are curious as to the inner workings of this calculator, please, by all means, click the link below and book a complimentary meeting with me, or send me an email and I'll send you the breakdown of this Excel spreadsheet so that you too can have a look at what the numbers say. But to summarize, in short, like I said, I would have lost approximately $570,000 in gain over a 10-year period given this specific property. Now, I made the decision not to buy property 15 years ago because of this calculator, and thank God I did, because it's actually landed me in a somewhat great financial position. I've been investing that $500,000, 50 years ago in the stock market, and continually topping up over the last 15 years during all the ups and downs, and it's absolutely served me incredibly well. Not only have I made a humongous profit, but I don't have to pay capital gains tax on any of that. And to top it off, guys, I have no liquidity issues, and time and stress of owning property I don't have also. So because it's worked out for me, what does it mean for you? Does it mean that you too shouldn't buy an investment property in Australia, or that maybe you should sell your investment properties that you currently own? Well, I'm going to be honest with you. It depends on a few factors, and these factors are the factors that you need to consider, so listen carefully. One factor, how long are you planning on staying an expat while living overseas? Are you like me? Because I'm here for a good 10 to even 20 years. I'm stuck in Singapore. I love it here. It's great. I'm not going anywhere. If that is the case, if you are like me, if you're staying for 5+ years, then you really need to consider the opportunity cost because of the compounding interest effect of making a bad investment decision. You really need to be doing the math. Now, the second factor that you need to consider is the reason for purchase. Why are you buying the property? What are you actually trying to achieve? Some people are wealthy and they're trying to achieve diversification in their portfolio, under which circumstances I would applaud and say, well done. Diversification is extremely important for every single investor. You also might be like me. The other reason for purchase could be lifestyle. I've recently bought a villa in Bali. It makes absolutely no mathematical or financial sense at all. I've crunched the numbers. It's on a 30-year leasehold, which means it depreciates in value over time. Even though the rental income is quite significant when I'm not there on Airbnb, it's still a bad investment. But I bought it anyway. Why? Because I'm not there to make a profit. I'm there for lifestyle. And that might be your situation as well. Maybe you have a sick mother living at home. Maybe you use it as a holiday home. Maybe it's a beautiful retirement home. However, the other reasons for purchase, there are only two other reasons, and which means that you're there to make money. You're either there for capital gain or you're there to derive an income from the property. Under which circumstances, if that is the case, if you're telling me that you're here for 5+ years and you're buying property, not for diversification purposes, not for lifestyle purposes or emotional purposes, you're specifically there to make gain and a financial gain from that investment, well then, if you're a smart investor, you should be doing what I've done, and that is obviously the math. You should be talking to your real estate agent, your mortgage broker, your tax accountant to gather all that data. What is the stamp duty fee? What's my land taxes and so on? And then plugging it into the Excel spreadsheet to find out what your return over a 10-year period is. And then on top of that, comparing it with investing in the stock market. Think of it like this. If the Australian government said today, hey guys, we're not going to tax anyone in Australia anymore on their share portfolios. No capital gains tax. It's completely tax-free on all growth. How many of those Australians in Australia will continue to buy property? I don't know, but I'm going to guess not very much. But the point is, this is the situation you're in. You're in a situation where you need to factor in these considerations. You're paying double the capital gains tax while living offshore versus paying no tax in the stock market. Your job is to make decisions based on pure maths and fundamentals, because the difference could be in the millions of dollars. And that leads me to the final thing. If you need help, maybe you don't have the expertise to do these calculations, or maybe you don't really understand the opportunities that you have before you as an Australian expat, or maybe you just need someone to review your current situation, please, by all means, click the link below and book a complimentary meeting with me, and I'll be more than happy to help. I'm originally from Perth, Western Australia. I hold a degree in economics and financial planning. I've worked at ANZ and Commonwealth Bank as a financial advisor, and I moved offshore approximately 20 years ago and have ever since specialized in helping Australian expats like yourself. Guys, this is my passion and what I do with life. My job is to help you meet your goals and objectives. So when you do click that link and you do book that free meeting with me, here's what's going to happen. First, I'm going to help define your goals and objectives. What is it that you're trying to accomplish? Once we know that, then we can find out a strategy that helps you meet those goals, given your specific circumstances, which means I'm going to help generate you a tailored financial plan that will help meet those goals. Like I said, click the link below and book a complimentary meeting with me, and I'll be more than happy to help. Before you make any investment decision, please, like I said, do the math. I look forward to hearing from you. Have a great day.